the case of accounting, do you make it easy for them to get you the information? Now, Joseph is doing a presentation about training your clients or customers. I think it's later today. Is Joseph here? No. Oh, he's preparing. Good. Thank you. But good. So, but at this point, I know that you can't do your job well unless the clients do their job. But you've got to be able to train them to do that. If you can't be consistent just because they're late, you've got to find ways to help them to get you the information, because they're not going to look at you and saying, I screwed up, but I'm going to continue doing business with you. They're going to look at you and saying, you haven't been able to overcome the challenges. They want and need to be trained. And so you need to let them know, and you need to coach them through the process on how to be good clients. That's important. So you need to find ways to make it easy for them to be able to buy the services that they want. And as part of this, in the customer care portion of things, so if you have another 1, 2, 3 offerings, make it easy for them to say yes. So if they're doing monthly accounting services with you, and payroll is easy, make it easy. Just respond to this and we'll be out there to set it up for you. Just, whatever it is, take all the barriers away. Make it easy for them to buy. Building relationships, not just personal. Relationships are not just the business side of things. Understanding, learning a little bit more about what's important to them. Have you ever asked your clients what they want to do after they transition, sell, get out of business? Do you know enough about them or their families to have a conversation and ask the question, to learn a little bit more about, can I send you some information? I mean, Tim mentioned the trip that I took my grandson to Disney. I mean, it was one of the highlights of my life to see a 6-year-old eyes going into Disney. It was absolutely extraordinary. And I share that in a lot of the small presentations because it's important to me. Now, if you've got clients that have an interest or that are passionate about something, and my latest hobby, trap shooting. I had my carpet cleaner, I was telling him that I had been trap shooting, and he happened to come across the magazine and he just mailed it to me. He just said, I thought that you might be interested in this. Now, I read it on the airplane. I've had it for 3 weeks. But it was nice of him, and it got me enough to be able to tell you about it. It was because he cared. It was just something nice to do.
The challenge I'm having with this is I don't want to get to know my clients at that level.
Great.
I mean, the whole purpose of what we're doing here is to push this stuff down. I'm happy when I don't know who the client is, actually.
Great.
I'd like to see something like this put into the manager's role. How do you systematize a relationship?
Well, you systematize the relationship with the firm, but you've got to personalize. Now, 80% of the content is going to be business-to-business related. You humanize the 20%. Remember the 80-20 rule we talked about earlier? Is taking that, and it may be whether it's a hard copy newsletter, or whether it's an e-newsletter or a blog or whatever it is, to be able to build a relationship, and then letting them know that, hey, you're doing monthly accounting services. By the way, we've got the special going on payroll. And here's an opportunity. If you're interested, let us know. Now, somewhere in there, if you're going to if you want to push this down, make someone else responsible for it, when we looked at the workroom, somebody should own that. Now, if they can build a database that says, look, these people like to, go on vacations, or these people like whatever they like, and then you just shoot out information to that database, it's a way to systematize it, but it can be very personal.
Well, I know my reaction to a birthday card from my insurance agent is creepy.
That they're sending you a birthday card?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I attach, maybe I'm unusual, but I attach no value to it.
okay. So then don't send birthday cards. Tim?
I'll argue that's because they haven't built a relationship with you before sending the card. That's an automated response to something that hasn't been developed in the first place.
Okay. So,
I think the relationship should be with the whole firm, not necessarily one person between that firm.
and that would be ideal, but how big is your firm? Well, and I guess, so now the question is, who are the people that will come in contact with that client so that you can, initially it's the salesperson, whoever's playing the sales role. That's where the relationship is built. And all of those key people that are in production have a way to be able to touch that. And the more touches you can have and have them build a relationship, the stronger that becomes. But as we identified earlier, the majority of firms that are represented here don't have that ability. It's 2, 3, 4 people wearing multiple hats. It's very, very difficult to be able to do that.
And relating to the organizational chart, if the owner and the leader don't need to be the ones doing that work, they're overseeing the people that are.
Mm-hmm. The people that are doing the regular interaction are there to be able to deal with it. Your customer service and customer care people that are ongoing, they become extremely important because that's where the relationship is. The owner and leader, if your business is really growing to ultimately what we've always wanted to do, which was to be able to get the owner sitting on a beach in Puerto Rico someplace and letting the business continue to run and generate money. I mean, ultimately, tell me, is there anybody here who wouldn't necessarily want that to be? Well, if that's the case, then you've got to be able to train people to be able to do those things. But to be able to create those systems, you've got to know how to do it first, and then you need to write that down, and then train other people to do it. That's going to be the key. So, building relationships, and there's a variety of different ways. You may come up with 10 or 12 different ways, and you're probably not any one of your clients are going to take advantage of all of them. It could be, a business education group. It could be the occasional birthday card or anniversary card or sending a card, just an appreciation. I mean, I got a $10 Starbucks gift card from my insurance agent. No big deal. But they thought enough about it to be able to send me, thanks for your business, we just appreciate what you did. We're going to talk a little bit about this. All right? The emotional bank accounts. How many of you have ever heard of emotional bank accounts before? Good. All right, so what is a deposit into the emotional bank account, the relationship bank account?
Anything that you do that floats your client's boat, anything that they think is cool, is really great. I use this all the time. I absolutely love it. It works really good in the office for the worriers, the ones that say, oh my God, we screwed this up. The client's it's gonna be bad. And I'm like, well, let's take a look at the emotional bank account. Where's our deposit level? Is it high right now? Not a big deal. We've got a great client relationship. Everybody makes mistakes. Everything's gonna be just fine. Trust me. Now, why did we make that mistake?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we don't want to make mistakes, but the fact is that we all make them. We are human. So if we can find ways to put deposits into that emotional bank account and build that relationship by over-delivering what we say, and how would you make a deposit? So it's certainly, exceeding expectations may be one. How else would you make an emotional bank account? Deposit.
You fix a problem they've had in the past in a way that they appreciate.
Right, something that's of value. Now, you're going to learn this afternoon about behavioral styles. All right, now, a high D, someone who's very aggressive, a type A personality, which is very common in business owners, showing them respect and finding ways to save them time. I took care of this for you, just want to let you know that I got it done. They will value that. A high I, someone who loves relationships, they're going to love the idea of you sending them a card. Just want to send you a note, special thoughts on your birthday, best wishes, and here's a $5 Starbucks gift card. Probably not. No, probably not.
Refer somebody to their business.
Yes, excellent. Finding ways to be able to add value. That's a great point. So you find ways to be able to promote their business and help them along the process. The more of these things that you do, give them access to information that would be helpful. If you know they're looking for employees to do a certain task, if you know of someone, refer that. They may not become an employee, but the fact that you were willing to participate and help them in an effort will make that deposit. And the more deposits you put in, when those times happen when maybe the reports didn't get out on time, maybe the quality wasn't necessarily there, maybe there was a mistake. Now, like you said, they're going to be understanding. And they're willing to tolerate some of those things. Where if you don't have those emotional bank accounts, at that point then you are likely going to get fired if you make too many of those withdrawals. Because you need to be able to keep that in balance. Questions? Good. So, customer service metrics. Average dollar sale. Now, remember, this is first transaction, so this metric and the other, the first sale metrics may be the same, but they could be different over a period of time. We talked about price increases and the need to be able to make that happen. Customer satisfaction surveys, whether it's hard copy, digital, come up with some numerical rating. Every event that Tim and I have done over the past 5 years, every event we ask for feedback. On a scale of 1 to 10, what did you think? Numbers have gone from 8.6 to 9.4. We had one not too recently that the average dropped a little bit. So we didn't do something right. But how would we know that unless we were asking? So, customer satisfaction surveys. And it could be something as easy as just picking up the phone. I've got one client, he makes 25 calls on a carpet cleaning business every week. He just calls up and said, we were there last week, did everything go okay? 23, 24 of those calls, everything's fine. But on occasion, they actually tell him, wait a minute, your guy screwed up. Or they did a great job. Or you get some information that's valuable. It would have been great if they would have done this. Wonderful tool. Depending on where your resources are and what you can outsource. Customer satisfaction surveys. Membership event participation. Client appreciation days. I know Tim does some things for employees, but if you do client appreciation, we've done, I've had clients that they buy 100 tickets to the zoo and they just give them to their clients and say, here, a gift from us. And oh, by the way, stop by and have some lunch. You know, I mean, it's something just that simple. Letting them know that you care. It could be something as simple, and you could tie some of this marketing event in, but when I owned the funeral home, we stopped spending our $3,600 a month on Yellow Pages advertising, and we ended up redirecting those dollars, and we rented a movie theater. Once a month, we'd put on a movie. Now, we put on a movie at 9 o'clock on a Tuesday morning. Who do you think's going to come? Yeah, I mean, we had one third shift couple that decided to call it a date night, but the rest of them were my target market. And all we did was just, we put on a first run movie, we provided donuts, coffee, juice, and we just introduced ourselves 5 minutes beforehand saying, if you've ever got any questions, we're here. If not, thanks and enjoy the movie. 37 people showed up. Our first event was September 11th, 2001. Interesting milestone. Other than letting them know what was going on and the craziness going on that morning, after they got out, we really didn't have anything else. But that was the first one. 37 people showed. 12 months later, we've had 1,700 people through the movie club, and we were filling 350 people a month. My cost on that, cost per lead, was really, really small. I mean, And by the time we went through 12 months, there were other partnerships. We had a home health care facility, there were a number of other, a pharmacy, there was a couple of other people that wanted to partner with us because we were getting in front of that demographic every month, actually twice, because they not only came to the movie theater to see the movie, but they also had to stop by the funeral home to pick up their ticket sometime during that period of time. Now, it was free. It was just nothing more than a postcard. We just printed out on the printer. It wasn't anything fancy. But we owned the whole theater that day, at that time. Great marketing tool. But it added value. It's a membership event. They were part of the movie club. And they liked being part of it. Once they realized I wasn't going to try to hard sell them a casket, then they turned around and then they started inviting friends. It was amazingly powerful. So we do our monthly lunch and learns to be able to add value to our clients. Sometimes it's information that's important to them, sometimes it's not. Not everyone's going to participate all the time. But the more they participate, the more value they get. And it's all in ways you can just say thank you for being my client. Yes?
Arguably, social media is becoming part of that as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, and that I guess is part of this, where we've been talking about actually going out and making the sale. Social media is about building a brand and creating a lot of credibility. Today, the way things work now is that for the most part, if a prospect is going to meet with you or your salespeople, they've already checked you out on the internet. They've already been to your website. They've already done whatever research. Now, as Tim pointed out, that may not happen all the time, but it is happening more and more. They will do their homework. And so if there's information that you want to have, make sure it's on the site. If you've got a site and it hasn't been updated in a year, you're making a mistake. People are looking. Referrals are a great way to measure customer service metrics. If they're willing to provide you a referral, that's a key. There may be some people that you don't necessarily want as clients, but they're good referral sources. But at this point, I would say if they're already passing referrals, then what else can we do to add value to your business? You're building ours. How can we help you build yours?